Excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. Let's call to order our Jeffco Board of County Commissioners meeting for April 29th, 2025. I'm Jeffco Commissioner Leslie Dahlkemper, here with Commissioners Zenzinger and Kerr. Our clerk this morning is Lane Blumquist, and our host is Ana Zendejas, who will handle requests for public comment and public testimony sign up in the chat for those of you who are joining us virtually. There are several ways to join our hybrid meeting, all of which are listed on our website at jeffco.us. Hybrid meetings are held in person and virtually, as we know. You are always welcome to reach out to the board on the county's website at jeffco.us or by email at commish@jeffco.us. We would also like to ask everyone to please silence your phones or your laptop, as the case may be, and please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we sit down, I'll actually ask commissioners to join me at the dais for Mental Health Awareness Month. Good morning, and thanks again to everyone joining us this morning. We're so happy to have you with us. Also, those of you who are joining us online, welcome. Today, we highlight Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health is just as important as physical health. It affects how we think, feel, and act. Prioritizing mental health well-being improves relationships, productivity, and overall quality of life for everyone in our community. Talking openly about mental health reduces shame and encourages people to seek help. We're fortunate to have the Jefferson Center in our community to provide client-centered services that are designed to meet individual mental health, substance use, and wellness needs. And with that, I'd like to turn it over next to Commissioner Kerr.
Thank you and good morning. As Commissioner Dahlkemper stated, prioritizing mental health is important for several reasons. 1 in 5 adults in the United States experiences mental health illness each year. It is more common than you might think. For many in our community, access to mental and behavioral health services is only available through organizations that rely on state and federal funding, such as Medicaid. While the current climate around federal funding seems to be changing daily, we stand with our community partners who work diligently to support individuals who need access to mental health services and resources. Today, we honor the organizations and individuals who put their heart and soul into working toward a better community for all by providing mental health resources to those who desperately need it. Before Commissioner Zenzinger reads the proclamation, I'd like to invite Micah Porter from Jefferson Center to come up and say a few words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Micah H. Porter, and I'm a digital communications strategist at Jefferson Center. On behalf of everyone at Jefferson Center, from our dedicated board and our staff to the wonderful people we have the opportunity to serve, we want to say thank you to the City of Jefferson County for declaring May as Mental Health Month. Each year, Jefferson Center serves more than 25,000 people. Thanks to the power of partnerships with over 150 community organizations, just like our partnership with the City of Jefferson County. Mental Health Month has been a cornerstone of advocacy since it began all the way back in 1949. And now, more than ever, will play a critical role in raising awareness and advocating for the support and funding for life-saving mental health programs and services in our community. Maintaining a good mental health is fundamental to overall well-being, and it's something that affects us all. Mental health conditions are common and treatable. In fact, 1 in 4 to 5 people will experience a mental health condition in any given year, and these challenges in life can impact anyone's mental health. Despite the prevalence of these challenges, many people will not seek help due to stigma, lack of awareness, or the availability of resources. This is where your support for Mental Health Month becomes truly invaluable. Your support is absolutely vital, and we deeply appreciate your recognition of Mental Health Month and your ongoing partnership with Jefferson Center. None of the important work we do would be possible without your support. Thank you all once again for your commitment to mental health awareness and standing alongside us in creating a healthier, more resilient community. Together, we can all make a difference. Thank you from Jefferson Center.
As was stated, we are in a turbulent time, and we don't know how federal funding cuts will affect mental health services in our community. I would like to thank the Jefferson Center team and everyone in Jeffco who works to improve the mental health of our community members. We support you, and we stand beside you as we navigate these uncertain times. Now, the proclamation. Whereas Jefferson County recognizes that mental health is a vital component of overall well-being affecting individuals, families, and communities across our nation, and whereas mental health awareness observed each May provides an opportunity to educate, advocate, and reduce stigma surrounding mental health challenges, fostering a culture of understanding and support, and whereas millions of Americans live with mental health conditions and access to timely, compassionate, and effective care is essential to their health and quality of life. And whereas in Jefferson County, more than 12,000 people utilized state-funded mental health services and 14% of individuals reported needing but not receiving mental health services. And whereas promoting mental health awareness encourages open conversations, early intervention, and the prioritization of mental health resources in our communities. And whereas Jefferson County is grateful for the efforts of the Jefferson Center in providing high-quality mental and behavioral health services and counseling in our community, now therefore be it proclaimed by the Jefferson County Board of Commissioners of the State of Colorado that May 2025 be declared Mental Health Awareness Month in this county.
Next on our agenda is public comment, and the board will take up to 15 minutes of public comment at the beginning of our meeting. Then we have a second round of public comment at the end of the meeting. We'll begin with those who have signed up for public comment, followed by those who have not had an opportunity. We'll start with those of you who are here in the hearing room, and then we'll move to those of you who are joining us virtually. When it's your turn to speak, if you're joining us virtually, please use a computer and let the host know that you would like to address the board, and the host will unmute you. Ms. Indejas will unmute you. And the chat function, please know, is only seen by the host and no comments are retained in the record. I want to mention that we have 5 community members who have signed up, who are here in person to speak on the issue of the Rocky Mountain Greenway. That issue is on consent, and I'm going to make an exception this morning to allow those individuals to please come forward and to speak and address the board now. So if we can have you move up to the front, that would be wonderful, and we'll call you in the order in which you have signed up. That issue is on consent right now. And then I'll turn to Ms. Indejas to see if there's anyone joining us online who'd also like to address this particular issue as well? I see we have one person and it is on this issue. Perfect. Thanks, Ms. Zendejas. I appreciate it. So first, we'll begin with Deborah Siegeloff. And if you would share your address with us, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My address is 7180 Longview Drive in Niwot. Okay. Good morning. I'm Dr. Deborah Segeloff. I have a PhD in biochemistry, and I was a biomedical research scientist for nearly 40 years. Prior to my recent retirement, I was a medical school professor and a member of our medical center's cancer center. Following federal and state safety guidelines, I worked with radioactive compounds for all my scientific career, and therefore I can't be accused of being phobic of radioactivity. I'd like to address the topic of the Rocky Mountain Greenway today, speaking for myself as well as PSR Colorado, the Colorado chapter of Physicians for Social Responsibility. The completion of the Greenway connections over Indiana Street and under Route 128 will only further increase recreation on the refuge, amplifying an already dangerous situation. The soil on the refuge is known to be contaminated with plutonium. While there may be levels of plutonium set by government agencies to be legally acceptable, they do not equate to being safe levels. There are no safe levels of plutonium. Plutonium emits alpha radiation, which is the most dangerous form of ionizing radiation. Because alpha radiation can't penetrate the skin, plutonium doesn't pose a risk if it remains outside of one's body. However, if plutonium, even one particle, is taken up into one's body, the consequences can be deadly. The plutonium will remain there, continuously irradiating nearby cells with alpha radiation, which results in DNA mutations in those cells. If mutations occur in genes that control cell multiplication, this will initiate and sustain cancer growth. The most likely way plutonium can enter one's body is by inhalation of soil dust containing plutonium. It's been documented by Dr. Michael Ketterer that air collected during a high wind event over Rocky Flats does indeed contain plutonium, and winds over Rocky Flats are quite prevalent. The Greenway will be encouraging even more people to be on the refuge and therefore at risk. And barring any cleanup, the dangers posed by plutonium on the refuge are not going away anytime soon, because it will take over 24,000 years for the plutonium on the refuge to lose only 1/2 of its radioactive energy. For these reasons, I and PSR Colorado urge you to please put a halt to the Greenway. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Segeloff, for your comments. Next, we have Randy Stafford on the same topic. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. May I please trade with Judy Padilla? And I'll take her spot and she can take mine. She's fifth on the list.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll allow that. Ms. Padilla? And Mr. Stafford, I will put you after her.
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you please share your address with us, and then you'll have 3
Yes, my
minutes.
address is 7737 Ellen Lane, Denver 80221.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Judy Padilla. I retired from Rocky Flats when it closed in 2005 after 22 years of hands-on nuclear work. I watched as the buildings were imploded, the glove boxes dismantled, and all above-ground traces of the production areas were demolished. I also saw many fellow workers sicken and die, including my husband of 50 years. Pu-239, with a half-life of 24,000 years, will persist in the environment hundreds of thousands of years, heavy metals in perpetuity. In my opinion, building a recreational parkway on a demolished nuclear weapons plant is not only reckless, but insanity. The average American knows very little about nuclear physics, much less about the biological effects from ionizing radiation, and almost nothing of half-life of elements and complex, long-term stochastic cancers and genetic mutations. It is immoral for the Jefferson County to sponsor projects encouraging the public to risk their health recreating on radioactive soil and to spend taxpayers' dollars greenwashing efforts to normalize such a dubious idea. We ask Jeffco BCC to stop the project. Don't build Greenway Crossing over Indiana Street. Don't encourage recreation on contaminated land. If you want to utilize the ground and can do so with as little soil disruption as humanly possible, why not beat your swords into plowshares and create wind farms or solar collection systems, less human exposures and constructive to boot? In a 2020 book, Doom with a View, Dr. Mark Johnson stated, because of the screen of secrecy and ultimate lack of accountability, it appears to me that Rocky Flats contractors have contaminated Jefferson County and its residents indiscriminately with no fear of the consequences. I myself did not escape unscathed. After 15 years of working with weapons-grade plutonium and toxic chemicals, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I took time off for a radical mastectomy and chemo, then resumed work for another 7 years. This past October, I was diagnosed with malignant melanoma of my left arm. I'm grateful for the chance to speak out for the workers and the residents who've been exposed to the many hazards of the building of weapons for mass destruction in America. Please take a conservative stance when it comes to plutonium. It is the most dangerous substance known to man, unpredictable and unstoppable.
Thank you.
Never underestimate its power.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Yes,
We
I
appreciate it.
also have here 3 copies of DVD made by Jeff Geib. He's researched over 8 years, 3 copies for the members. And
If I could
also,
ask you, any materials you have for the board, if you wouldn't mind, please giving those to Cassie Pierce with our Public Affairs Department.
of
and
course,
she'll make sure we
thank you
get
for the
that.
opportunity to speak.
Thank you for being here. And now we'll go back to Randy Stafford.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Stafford, 10461 West Indoor Drive, Littleton, Colorado. Good morning, Commissioners. I've come to speak with you this morning about the Rocky Mountain Greenway Trail crossings into the Rocky Flats National Wildlife Refuge. You may remember that I served on the Jefferson Parkway Advisory Committee and am very familiar with the soil contamination in that area. The Federal Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry maintains a toxicological profile for plutonium document, which states on page 5, breathing plutonium-contaminated air is the most dangerous way to be exposed to plutonium. If you know or suspect that plutonium has been released to the air, you should leave the area immediately. Dr. Michael Ketterer has proven that plutonium from Rocky Flats blows in the wind at the exact location where Jefferson County is building a bridge over Indiana Street to connect the Greenway Trail into Rocky Flats. The DOE, EPA, and CDPHE say the site is safe for unrestricted use and unlimited exposure. The ATSDR warns if you know plutonium has been released to the air, you should leave the area immediately. We know plutonium is released to the air at the site. Given the ATSDR warning, how can the DOE, EPA, and CDPHE position be valid? Yet Jefferson County is doggedly pursuing this project that will encourage the public to go recreate in plutonium-contaminated soil and air, to the extent of litigating against other municipalities who are exhibiting responsible governance to protect public health, to the extent of paying a $2,200 invoice for engineering analytics to argue in favor of the project at a Westminster study session, to the extent of spending $816,000 in 2019 to buy the contaminated Woman Creek property on which to build a trail segment from Westminster Hills open space to Indiana Street. Overall, Jefferson County is spending more than $1 million on this insane project, even during a time of budget duress. As a Jefferson County taxpayer, this makes me extremely angry. The only possible upside is a hollow greenwashing story about turning a nuclear weapons plant into a public playground. The downside is that by pursuing this project, you are responsible for exposing people to the most dangerous substance known to man. Commissioner Dahlkemper, I am so disappointed. My late mother, a Betcher Scholar from Arvada High School, who went on to a distinguished career of service to Jefferson County and who was a supporter of yours, who died of pancreatic cancer and suffered other serious health conditions which may have been caused by Rocky Flats, she would not want you to govern this way. I am asking you to stop this project while you still can. It's never too late to do the right thing. It is simply immoral for you to sponsor projects that encourage the public to risk its health recreating in plutonium contamination. So please, for the sake of everyone who might someday inhale a plutonium particle at Rocky Flats, do not build the Greenway crossings. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Stafford. Next, we have Giselle Herzfeld.
Good morning, Jefferson County Commissioners. My name is Giselle Herzfeld, and I live in Longmont, Colorado, 80501. I'm here today on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center, and also on behalf of the young people who grew up along the Colorado Front Range in the shadows of a nuclear weapons plant we were never informed existed. I spent my entire youth living and going to school less than 15 to 20 minutes away from Rocky Flats. My parents moved from out of state to the Colorado Front Range in 1999, and at that point, Rocky Flats had been officially shut down for exactly 1 decade. However, even living so close to the area, and even with such a relatively recent closure of the site, Rocky Flats was not a household name for our family. We had no idea we were living less than 20 minutes away from a former plutonium pit plant. In school, I learned about many aspects of Colorado's history, but I never heard the name Rocky Flats mentioned in school, not even once. If it was already that obscured from public memory 26 years ago, we can all imagine how much worse it is now. It wasn't until I was 21 years old that I found out that I had spent my whole life in the shadow of a contaminated nuclear weapons facility. And when I ask young people if they know about Rocky Flats, hardly any have. It feels like it has been wiped from mass public memory, and this terrifies me. The area surrounding Rocky Flats is a rapidly growing development site with many people moving here from out of state. Online, the Rocky Flats Refuge is marketed as a beautiful recreation area, a great place to take your family and see some beautiful wildlife. Signage at the site is minimal. People recreate there having absolutely no idea what kinds of carcinogens and contaminants they could be exposing themselves and their children to, including plutonium, americium, beryllium, and many, many more. If we look at the big picture, the Rocky Mountain Greenway is just another way to cover up and greenwash the environmental crimes that occurred at Rocky Flats, to manufacture consent for the endless continuation of the development of weapons of mass destruction. Recent decisions by local governments have raised the alarm that the Rocky Mountain Greenway is in no way built on public consensus. These decisions include Westminster's 2024 vote to not develop the portion of the Greenway Trail that would have fallen on their property, as well as Superior and Lyons votes in recent months to oppose the Greenway and recreation at Rocky Flats. So today, I am asking you to join in solidarity with the other local governments who have withdrawn from and/or opposed this project. Please stop building on Rocky Flats, withdraw from the Rocky Mountain Greenway, and don't accept ownership of the Indiana Street overpass. It's not too late to do the right thing, and I know future generations will thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have John Lipsky.
Good morning. P.O. Box 2492, Longmont, Colorado, 80502. And honorable commissioners, thanks for placing mental health awareness this morning on the center stage. Thank you very much, and staff and public. My name is John J.O.N. Lipsky. I'm the affiant for the criminal search warrant at Rocky Flats in 1989, and now I'm retired from the FBI. Today is the appropriate time for the Jefferson County Commissioners to utilize its authority and pause the installation of the Rocky Mountain Greenway pedestrian bridge over Indiana Street and the pedestrian underpass beneath Colorado 128, and temporarily close the Rocky Flats National Wildlife Refuge for lack of a Jefferson County radiation assessment for the protection of public health. May I bring your attention to the fact that The Jefferson County Land Development Regulation, Section 27, Radiation Ordinance mandates the evaluation and mitigation of naturally occurring and man-made radiation hazards with a Jefferson County radiation assessment. Plutonium-239 is man-made. For example, the RMG pedestrian bridge underpass and its trails were constructed without required radiation assessment. Otherwise, a radiation assessment for the RMG would have been publicly available. The RMG trails in the area of Indiana Street pedestrian bridge were constructed in the most contaminated portion with weapons-grade plutonium-239, what's known as the windblown area of the refuge, repeatedly contaminated year after year from Rocky Flats Legacy Nuclear Burial Site, the 903 pad, that CDPHE refers to as the Americium Zone. In April 2024, Dr. Michael E. Ketter and I visited Indiana at the Southeast Refuge Gate on a very blustery day. Thereafter, Dr. Ketter analyzed the filters from his air collecting system and proved that Rocky Flats plutonium had left the site and was captured by him on Indiana Street. However, Rocky Flats site contamination area has proved to be unsettled with extreme precipitation events, drastic fluctuations of temperatures, and blustery winds approaching 100 miles per hour with no reason to believe that a 2006 USDE report cited are predictable in today's terms. I was out there that day on April 6, 2024, and the winds were over 40 miles an hour and the gusts were up to 96 as clocked by the National Weather Service. It was horrendous. And as you consider the consent agenda item to purchase the bridge over Indiana Street and maintain maintenance, I ask you to please remember that if you do that, please make sure your maintenance workers wear protective personal equipment. They need to wear a mask because that plutonium out there is very small. It's respirable, and it, like me, it can affect you with incipient or even cancer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lipsky, for being here this morning. Commissioners, I know we're over our 15-minute limit, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward, and we'll hear next from Jeff Geip, who's joining us online, and then we'll follow up on a different topic with Lynn Clemens. I understand we have no one else virtually who's joining us who'd like to address the board for public comment, with the exception of Mr. Geip. Mr. Geip, are you with us this morning?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We sure can. If you would share with us your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Yeah, my address is 13833 West 66th Way, Arvada, Colorado. And I'm joining today to strongly oppose the Rocky Mountain Greenway trail crossings into the contaminated Rocky Flats National Wildlife Refuge. This project threatens public health and ignores the well-documented history and science showing that significant dangers remain. Encouraging children and families to recreate in an area contaminated by radioactive pollution is irresponsible. The proposed bridge and tunnel meant to provide safe access are incongruent with the reality that the site itself is not safe. It's a dangerous illusion, the idea of protecting people from traffic while directing them onto contaminated land. My father is one of over 10,000 former workers who have become ill after working at this site, and one of over 5,000 whose illnesses have been officially linked to Rocky Flats. Since releasing the Rocky Flats documentary Half-Life of Memory last fall, I've been contacted by dozens of people who believe their health or the health of their loved ones has been impacted by Rocky Flats. A 2016 community-driven health survey found over 900 cancer cases in the area, many of them rare. Many Jefferson County residents are only now learning about Rocky Flats and are appalled. This trail reopens wounds for many former workers and impacted families. Proceeding with this project sends a clear message that their suffering and ongoing risks are being ignored. I urge you to do the right thing, protect the public, honor the truth, and stop this dangerous project before it leads more people onto poisoned ground. To quote Dr. Leroy Moore, if you move forward with this project, you are assigning some people to death. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Mr. Geip. Next, we have Lynn Clemens. Lynn, if you'd come forward, and we understand the topic is traffic manual revisions.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Lynn Clemens, 6202 Kilmer Loop, Unit 102, Arvada, 80403. And I'm concerned about the proposed traffic manual revisions that are coming up and being discussed in the work session today. One of my concerns is about the timing. I thought the traffic manual revisions were supposed to be part of the Together Jeffco project. And I know Together Jeffco has been delayed, but why is traffic manual being revised now instead of waiting to put the whole project together at the same time? Second, I do have some questions about the changes and whether or not these will affect the 5950 McIntyre project. And will these changes then affect the 5950 McIntyre project, or will that project fall under the old changes, or will the new changes be adopted and then 5950 can use the new changes? I'm concerned, one of the concerns is the vision triangle. I haven't really seen a good drawing of this in their documents, even though over the many years we've seen the SDP being looked at by the county. They keep asking about the vision triangle. About a month ago, I saw some trucks coming out of the 5950 project area trying to pull out onto McIntyre. And in order for a big truck to pull out, one truck had to stop one lane of traffic so that the other truck could pull through and get onto McIntyre. So I'm very concerned about these vision triangles with all of the traffic that's going up and down McIntyre these days. And I want to make sure that my community is safe. The other thing is I'm concerned about these big trucks making a U-turn into the driveways at 5950 because the only way the trucks can get into the project is at the light at 60th. And if the trucks are going north, they have to actually make a complete U-turn to get into the project to go south to get to the warehouse truck base. Also, there are bike lanes right along McIntyre. How are the bike lanes going to be affected by all the big truck traffic? I assure you that the community will be reviewing all of the proposed changes, and with all the new density that's going in along McIntyre, I'm sure we both want to protect the safety of the public, and I appreciate you looking at these very, very carefully. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ms. Clemens. And I also want to point out that our Director of Transportation, Mike Vanetta, is here and may be able to connect with Ms. Clemens after our meeting today. And thanks again to those of you who testified on the consent agenda item regarding a proposal involving Jeffco Open Space to accept ownership and assume ongoing maintenance of the Indiana Street Bridge. With that, we will go ahead and close public comment. We do have a second round of public comment at the end of today's meeting. Next, we have the approval of the minutes dated April 22nd, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
I move for the approval of hearing consent agenda items.
Minutes.
I'm sorry.
That's the next one.
Let me turn back to the first page. I move for the approval of the minutes, April 22nd, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Blumquist, would you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kerr,
Aye.
Commissioner Zenzinger,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahlkemper.
Yes, and that motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have 8 items on the consent agenda. Commissioners, would either of you like to take an item off the consent agenda?
No, thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to approve items 7.1 through 7.8?
I move for the approval of consent agenda items 7.1 through 7.8.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Blumquist, would you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kerr,
Aye.
Commissioner Zenzinger,
Aye.
Commissioner Dahlkemper.
Yes, and that motion passes on the consent agenda items. Next is our regular agenda. We have no agenda items on our regular agenda. We also have no items on our hearing consent agenda or on the hearing regular agenda. Next on our agenda is a second round of public comment. And is there anyone present who would like to address the board this morning in the hearing room on any topics not on the agenda or who has not had a chance to already address the board? And Ms. Zendejas, do we have anyone joining us virtually?
No one online.
Great, thank you so much. So that now closes this second round of public comment, and we'll move to reports from commissioners. And I'll start with Commissioner Zenzinger.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of things, and I apologize if this is going to be lengthy, but I think it's really important that we mention these things for public awareness. And on that note, I just wanted to compliment whoever typed up the minutes. I've been reading the minutes lately, and it's a really good job summarizing my comments. So thank you for that. So I want to start off with, we did have last week Jeffco Housing Advocacy Steering Committee. This is a group of housing advocates throughout Jefferson County, made up of various elected officials, and I'm looking for an email right now so that I can speak to the items. So we, yeah. So we talked about a number of items, and I don't know why it is I cannot get to my email. Figured it out. This is the group that put together the Jeffco blueprint for affordable housing, focusing very specifically on the middle income areas. It's a coalition of local government, business, and community leaders. Commissioner Dahlkemper is also a member of this group, and I started off as this group when I was serving in the state Senate. And we've gotten to the point in our planning where we are starting the implementation of our blueprint. We're no longer planning, we're no longer discussing, but we're in the action phase right now. So it's part of the reason why I wanted to call up my minutes of the meeting, because there were a couple of items that I wanted to share, including that right now we are in the process of hiring, putting out an RFP for a project manager. If we want to implement our blueprint, we really need somebody to be able to spearhead this work. And so I just wanted to advertise that to the public. If you know of a really good contract project manager, this might be a good project for them. We are bringing in some this additional project management so that we can assist the group with the implementation of our blueprint. The RFP can be found on a couple of different websites, including the Colorado Gives Foundation website, as well as the Jeffco Action Center website, not Action Center, I'm sorry, the Jeffco Advocacy Network, which brings me to my second point. The Jeffco Advocacy Network is going to be changing their name to the Jeffco Community Network, which is more inclusive of their mission and vision for the work that they do. And they are one of the entities in Jefferson County that helps us tell our stories and raise awareness around our affordable housing issues in Jefferson County. I also wanted to point out that we have a couple of projects that are coming up in our municipalities, including a project in Wheat Ridge, where we are trying to heighten community awareness around the rezoning of the Lutheran campus. And it's really important that people know that we are doing everything we can in order to increase affordable housing options. And this is one of those opportunities. So I wanted to make you aware of that as well. We only meet now on a quarterly basis, which is part of the reason why I wanted to review some of the minutes of the work of the Jeffco Housing Blueprint, because you will not hear another update for another quarter, but I didn't want that work to be lost. Secondly, I wanted to raise awareness about some potential cuts that are being put forward by the federal government regarding our human services, our human health and services. The reason why I think it's really important that I highlight these is because I don't think that people understand what is on the chopping block if we do not speak up. So some of the cuts that we are anticipating or concerned about would be, for example, the social services block grant funds. The social services block grant funds support 29 different types of services across 8 high-level service areas that help people reduce their dependency and promote self-sufficiency, protect children and adults from neglect, abuse, and exploitation, and helps individuals who are unable to take care of themselves and stay in their homes or to find the best institutional arrangements for them. We have discovered from a document from the House Ways and Means Committee, there is a proposal right now to eliminate the social services block grant funds in the federal budget. This would be devastating to Jefferson County and very specifically to the residents who rely on these programs. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware that this is being considered and to please reach out to your federal legislators in order to object to this. In the human services space, we rely on these social services block grant programs, as well as 2 other significant programs, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, often referred to as SNAP and the former program referred to as TANF. These programs are what is known as food stamps or is what gives people access to healthy food in our food pantries and food banks, and very specifically for people who are living in extreme poverty. So there are a couple of different reforms that are coming with regard to SNAP and TANF, including the defunding of SNAP from the federal government and handing that over entirely to the states and the counties, which means that we would be responsible for all of the funding with the state of Colorado and the counties for a federal program, which would then be turned over to the local governments to fund. And then lastly, our TANF programming, extremely important, particularly for children who are in our child welfare system, our orphans and our abused children who are living in foster homes, who take advantage of those TANF dollars. And right now, it looks as if those pre-qualified categories for children who are orphaned or in our child welfare system would no longer be eligible without a redetermination process, which would be very expensive and lengthy and would increase bureaucracy and the local costs in order to do that. So want to put those cuts out there for the public knowledge so that you have an opportunity to push back or to reach out to your federal legislators. And then finally, and I mentioned this last time, one of the proposed cuts is to eliminate Head Start, which would be very devastating for Colorado in particular, where we have 11,000 children who are attending Head Start programming. So again, apologize for the lengthy report on that, but I truly feel as if the general public is not aware that these are in the plans for the next federal budget, and I wanted to heighten your awareness. I also had the pleasure of attending last week a really touching groundbreaking for the Arvada Police Foundation Honor Garden. I brought with me a copy of the program because it contains some sketches about some planning for how the garden will look. A really wonderful centerpiece of the Honor Garden will be a bronze sculpture that depicts an intergenerational approach to the police service and public service as a way of life, and I thought it was very touching. And then very specifically to honor the 4 officers who lost their lives in the dedication of their service to the community. Officer Robert Beckdahl, Officer Michael Northy, Officer Gordon Beasley, and Officer Dylan Vakoff. Again, very touching ceremony. And if you are interested, you can participate in the funding of that memorial garden. They are looking for approximately $2 million in order to be able to install this garden. And they have a number of public, philanthropic, and other types of foundation organizations that have put out some challenge grants to the community where they will match dollar for dollar anything that is contributed to the project. So I highly recommend that you take a look at it. You can find more details on the City of Arvada's website. I also had an opportunity to attend the Jefferson County Mental Health Spring Soiree. So it was very exciting to be able to honor the work of the Jefferson Center this morning with our proclamation. The Spring Soiree really focused on the legacy of the outgoing President and CEO, Kiara Kunzler. In fact, they have established a brand new Kiara Kunzler Legacy Foundation Fund, and this fund will help increase our efforts to be able to improve access for mental health. And it was just a really moving tribute to her dedication and her service over the last couple of years at Jefferson Center. I think that is everything that I have on my list. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Commissioner Zenzinger. Commissioner Kerr.
Thank you. I'm going to make up for that lengthy one with a short one. Last week, I was able to attend the Hats Off for Democracy event put on by our clerk and recorder and her staff to help celebrate the election workers and give some awards out to some of the great election workers who put their time and energy into their jobs, making sure that everyone's voice is heard and every vote is counted and counted accurately. So it was great to see those folks and celebrate them. Couple of, I know some folks I have not been attending nearly as many things of late, just for some personal reasons, but I did want to thank Jefferson County Open Space for their Earth Day Climate Action event. I know that that was successful, and I think they had 90 plus volunteers there. Also, our West Metro firefighters had a successful fundraising event. I think it was this last Saturday at Westfax, Casa Bonita, with some of our other elected officials to raise some funds for good causes. And I just wanted to remind folks, tis the season for spring. Our young folks are out there participating in spring sports, which are regular seasons are coming to an end this week, but playoffs and state events, we have quite a few of those happening at our Jeffco stadiums, from track and field to lacrosse and lots of girls soccer. So please know that our young folks are out there competing. I know that Jefferson County has some really successful athletes out there, and let's give them your support. And also, of course, graduations. I do believe prom season is now over, but we do have lots and lots of graduations going to be happening. And so congratulations, and let's make sure we support our graduates. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Commissioner Kerr. And Commissioners Kerr and Zenzinger had 3 items that were on my list. So I'm going to see if I can be even shorter than Commissioner Kerr. Commissioner Zenzinger mentioned the Housing Advocacy Committee, which we've both served on for a couple of years now, as well as the Memorial Garden, very moving ceremony. And a big shout out to our Jeffco Open Space volunteers on Earth Day at Van Bibber. I wanted to also mention that, as you know, we talk a lot about collaboration and partnership and how important it is for many of the initiatives we focus on here at Jefferson County, including wildfire resiliency. And I want to thank Garrett Stevens and our partners at the Jefferson Conservation District. I stopped by last week to join the annual meeting and share on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners our strong thanks and our gratitude for the work that Jeffco Open Space, that Jefferson Conservation District does with our Jeffco Open Space team in areas around initiatives around slash and mitigation and more. So we really appreciate that partnership. I also want to flag the new, somewhat new still, Engage Jeffco podcast. Be sure to check that out at jeffco.us. There's some good podcasts that will help deepen your knowledge about efforts underway here at the county. We also want to thank those of you who applied for our advisory committee. The deadline was yesterday, so we're eager to see how those applications look. And then just a friendly reminder, there are a number of Fire Protection District Board of Directors elections that are going on in Conifer, Evergreen, West Metro has seats open. So please get to know the candidates, learn more about them, and please be sure to vote if you are in one of those fire rescue districts. And then I also wanted to mention just briefly that I've been serving on the Chatfield Watershed Authority Board for several years on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners. We had an incredible presentation yesterday by Colorado School of Mines students who were taking samples of soil and water after the quarry fire and also doing research on fire retardant, which slows the spread of wildfires, found that retardant is very high in phosphorus levels. And if that gets into the water, that's difficult, really tough on the water. We want to have proper phosphorus levels. They looked at 4 different compounds to actually filter the water and identified one called zeolite. Now, I didn't know what that was. I had to Google it. But it is something that, you know, those of you who've had kids or if you've just had fish, there's a common compound used in fish to filter water, and it was the clear winner in purifying the water. That matters because when we have wildfires and you have sediment or you have retardant getting into the water, it can drastically affect water quality. So we're exploring how we can continue to work with the Colorado School of Mines students in identifying ways to continue to make sure that our water is safe and drinkable and of the highest quality. So again, a huge thanks to the team at Colorado School of Mines. And then finally, Andy just mentioned the event for the county clerk's office and recognizing the incredible team at the county clerk's office. And I just want to take a moment to recognize the team that works with us every Tuesday morning. We could not do this work without you. And I'm also looking into the camera at Ms. Zendejas and others who are here with us. Ms. Blomquist, and we have new members of the team who have come on board as well. And welcome. We're happy to have you. And thanks so much for making sure that these meetings always run smoothly. We appreciate you very much. I actually don't think that was shorter than Commissioner Kerr's report, but I'll turn it over to County Manager Joe Kirby.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mine will be the shortest of all this morning. I have nothing to share. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe.
Nothing.
Yes, perfect. Thanks so much. With that, we're going to go ahead and adjourn, and then we'll pick up briefings at about 5 after, thereabouts, as soon as we get everyone upstairs on the 5th floor. And thanks so much. This meeting is adjourned.